Hello there, my name is Rhett Downing, and I'm a mass communication master's student with a strong research focus in communication studies and interpersonal relationships. Dang, that takes me out of breath. Today, we are going to be talking about the third person effect and vicarious learning. So, yesterday I did a presentation over this sort of thing, though it wasn't the overarching theme. What I did, it was a psychology course, so they kind of gave me some leeway since I'm not in psychology, because they wanted to know more about my area of expertise, if I could say that now. So I found this article. I'm not going to include it in here, but I think it's worthy of noting. They found that we're basically setting the stage for cardiometabolic conditions and problems in adulthood. Cardiometabolic, it's a fancy way of saying risk factors having to do with the heart and metabolic conditions like insulin resistance, diabetes, high cholesterol, that sort of thing. So that's what they found. And then I had to tie it in with the third person effect and vicarious learning. Now, they had heard of vicarious learning, but I was surprised that they hadn't heard of the third person effect. Hence this video, because it's terrifying, okay? It's terrifying and also amazing. So let's get right into it. I have only 4 beautiful bullet points down here. I just love condensed information. So the third person effect is the concept that the media affects everyone else more so than me. So if you're in my shoes, the media affects everyone else more so than you. Now, when it comes to mass comm theory, people often also tend to think that they are smarter than the average person. So, put yourself in my shoes. Since I'm so smart, and especially since I'm much smarter than everybody else, including you, surely the media doesn't have an effect on me just like it does them. Everybody else is a drone but me. I'm just too smart for that. Okay, this is a tendency, by the way. A tendency for people to think these sorts of things. Now, people also tend to think that in order for the media to have any effect at all, it must be immediate. You see a Domino's advertisement. You're not hungry, you're not in the mood for pizza, therefore you don't order, and therefore it doesn't have an effect. Is that right? Oh, is that right? Well, I hate to tell y'all, but a lot of the media, their effects are slow and encroaching and built up over the course of years, decades, over the course of our entire lives. And so I'll give you an example. Let's use the same Domino's example. Say, for instance, you didn't meal prep the weekend before. You don't want to cook that night. You don't have enough groceries. It's convenient to get Domino's. And you're in the mood for pizza. So it's on a whim, right? Next weekend I'll meal prep and tomorrow I'll cook. It's on a whim. So you order Domino's. It's absolutely not because you saw the exact same Domino's advertisement 10 times in the same day. No, you're too smart for that. It's absolutely not because you saw it 15 the day prior, 20 the day before that, and 25 the day before that, and you think 25 times to see or hear the exact same advertisement is a lot? Ho, ho, ho. Puts things into perspective, doesn't it? And it doesn't just have to do with our food. Say you're my age and you have to grow up a little bit. I'm starting to get to the point where I need to start paying my own car bills and things like that. So I need insurance. Geico can save me 15% or more on car insurance. What about Allstate? Are you in good hands? Yeah. So the scary thing about this effect is, number one, realizing it, and number two, witnessing and understanding just how often there are advertisements. Not only that, just how often they might affect you. You need new sneakers. You're dead set on getting some Nikes. Why? Maybe because you like the style. Maybe because you like how they fit. Maybe because you like the price. Sure, all those things play a role, but it's absolutely not because you've seen the world's richest, most athletic, and most attractive people on the planet use them. You're just too smart for that. I'm just too smart for that sort of thing. There's a reason why companies spend millions on advertisements. Okay? Millions. Especially repetitive ones. It's because they work. They oftentimes work. There's a reason why we all want to strive to buy the most expensive things, most expensive cars, the most expensive jewelry, the finest looking clothing. There's a reason. And the thing is, nobody thinks the media has an effect on them. Okay, this is why it's terrifying. Okay, now there's a good chance. When you first hear about this effect, it's a shock. I remember when I first kind of understood just how much it seems like programming, and that's not to mention what they do to our food. There's a process called hydrogenation. On a molecular level, they go in and they add hydrogen molecules to our food, basically. Now, I'm completely making this simple, but they go in and add hydrogen molecules to make it come out better, feel the right texture, last longer, and most importantly, taste better. Where do you think saturated and trans fats comes from? The process of hydrogenation. And where do you think all that stuff is? In fast food. And so these advertisements, what they do, and we all know sugar activates the exact same brain regions as cocaine and sex. Come on. Everybody knows it's addicting. One of the most addicting substances on the planet. We see the advertisements and our brain triggers. Sugar. Our brains light up. I need to get it. And even if in that moment you don't get it, you're still going to see the exact same advertisement 1,000 times over in 2 months, let alone a month. Then we go get the food. And it's just this constant cycle. A constant cycle. And this doesn't just have to do with food. Gave the insurance example, gave the sneakers example, the clothes example. What about social media? Huh? Oh, man, social media. If I had the willpower, I'd delete all of mine. But I'm addicted. 100% addicted. I have to start turning off my phone so I can just go in the other room and read. I'm addicted to it. And a lot of people are. You think seeing all that sort of stuff and comparing yourself to someone whom you don't know every single day is healthy? So to think that any media, especially the mass kind, doesn't have an effect, or at least it just doesn't have as much effect, is outright silly. So this is where vicarious learning comes in, and I'll stick with a nutrition example. It's a good chance if you're watching this, excuse me, it's a good chance if you're watching this, that we grew up seeing our parents, our siblings, our friends, everybody on social media, everybody on TV, movies, even over the radio order takeout. Why? Why? It's fast, it's cheap, it's convenient, and it's good, right? So we learn this over the course of decades. I'm going to write it down. Decades. Do you understand? These things are being drilled. Drilled. And so the example I gave in my presentation was that if any of us ever have kids, or even if you have kids now, we have to be so mindful of what they watch and what they see and what they hear. How many advertisements go unnoticed? How many of them are subconscious or subliminal? Yeah. Oh, yeah. What are you playing in the background? And you think it doesn't have an effect on you at all, or a lesser amount compared to everyone else? My goodness, that's a dangerous game. It really is. So please, I'm begging you, be careful. Be careful. Especially when it comes to social media. I don't even want to talk about social media right now. Golly, the results are in on that, by the way. Everybody knows it is terrible for you. It's all just an illusion anyway. If you look into the third person effect, you'll understand just how often it might affect you. Advertisements, for instance. It's quite scary. It is. Because you won't be able to walk out the damn door without seeing an advertisement. And some of these, they aren't meant to affect you until they're a problem for you, or until there is a problem for you. Think of the billboard you pass every day to work. Think of the hamburger joint you pass every day to work. Oh, I'll just get it one time. I'll meal prep later. Yeah. So when it comes to nutrition and vicarious learning, which is, I don't remember if I said the definition, fancy way of saying learning by watching or seeing. When it comes to nutrition, perhaps we should show our kids what it's like to have a well-rounded meal and to make one, and most importantly, what the hell is in our food, what we eat. I'll tell you, the first time I ever touched dough was 2 weeks ago when I made my own bagels with my sister. I eat bread every day. I eat bread every day. I didn't know how it was made. I didn't know what was in it. I didn't know its process. I didn't know that you need bacteria in order for the bread to rise, the dough to rise. It's a whole process. And if anyone is a shred similar to me in that regard, we just have no clue what we're eating. So no wonder that study found that in childhood we are setting the stage for the future. And that's really important because, ladies and gentlemen, it is all about longevity. Life isn't about money, I've found. It's about time. And so if we spend our time, especially people my age, eating like crap and not getting healthy routines, and this is learned from what we see and what we think, we got another thing coming. Obesity, for instance. Cardiovascular problems. Cardiometabolic problems. In general. It's all about longevity. So just think about it. Prepare for the shock, my dear friends. And that's all I have for you. I'm going to see you all in the next video because it's going to be a good one. Thanks for watching.